Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Welcome to another Genesis game. This time we're doing Virgin's Lion King game. You see, everybody. Anyway, it was developed by Westwood Studios, which once again also had Disney animators doing the graphics, just like in Aladdin. Fun fact: because David and his team left Virgin to make Earthworm Jim, that's why Virgin got their own studio, Westwood Studios, to develop this one. And this was the second one of that classic partnership with Virgin, where they had Disney animators make the animation for their games. The Disney games.
Success.
Yeah,
that's right.
This is another classic. It's not as good as Aladdin, but it's still a fairly good game for its time.
Depends on who.
Oh, hi, Timon.
That famous bit. It starts.
Yeah,
Basically, that's a little thing that they added, and that thing has somehow become a meme.
I'm doing the Genesis version because while it is true that the music of the Super Nintendo version is way better, especially Circle of Life, as you guys heard the Circle of Life earlier, right? In the Super Nintendo version, we can actually hear the choir, which is essential to that song. Like, even though I'm not a fan of the movie, I fucking love the music of that movie. So,
surprised that the Super Nintendo version manages to add that.
Well, that's the thing, Tio. The Super Nintendo did technically have the superior sound chip.
True. Again, we saw that with the.
Remember, Teo. It usually, not always, goes like this. When it comes to more orchestral choir stuff, usually the Super Nintendo has the advantage.
So
not only that, but it was going for the more replicating instruments.
Basically, yeah. Like as you can see, once again, just like with Aladdin, the animation is absolutely stellar because, well, who's animating it, right?
Disney.
Okay, so Lion King is a platformer, and basically that yellow gauge at the top left, that's my health bar, and I can increase it by grabbing blue beetles like I just did, and by picking up orange ladybugs, I can increase that purple. Sorry, I'm mixing things up. It's the yellow one. I'm mixing up the. Hold on. First boss. This is another liberty they took where we fight a hyena.
I think it's Banzai.
Looks like it.
Yeah. That's the thing too. Every single hyena in this game is Banzai. So.
Oh, okay.
Oh, look at that! Look at that compressed James Earl Jones audio.
Don't you mean listen to?
Yeah, listen to. Anyway, minigame. Timon is throwing out beetles, and we're supposed to catch it with Pumbaa.
I remember seeing a more elaborated version of this minigame as a PC, one of those PC-like games they were giving with collected. Yay.
I haven't actually seen like the original games until now.
Pedro, don't you complain. I'm the one who has to handle the SNES version of this.
True. Anyway, allow me to explain
everything. You'll see when we get to it. For now, though, I will say this. This is one of the few levels where I actually do prefer the Genesis's music version of it. If only because this one can actually hit higher ranges than the SNES one can. And this one does sound like a nicer remix. Whereas the SNES one is not bad, but it doesn't reach the same ranges.
Yeah, the Circle Life remix in this Mega Drive version is basically practically butchers the original song.
Oh, so this is a puzzle?
Yes.
Level?
Yes. Basically, you have to roar at the monkeys, and when you roar at the purple monkeys, they change the direction for which they throw you. So basically, you have to. And I'm gonna save a state now. Jova, take it away.
The flamingo.
It's Battletoads level of like.
You'll see, Teo. You'll see. I'm going to ask you a favor, guys. Shira and Teo, pay attention to me dodging both the nests in the trees and there you go. I did not touch that thing. Fuck you, game. I did not touch it. I did not.
Yeah, this really is kind of like Turbo Tunnel.
Okay. To be fair, it's not nearly as torturous as Turbo Tunnel, but it has some things. Okay, so essentially, the game here gives you hints and whatnot.
Why?
Now,
good job.
Now here's the deal. If you're someone like me who has played this game practically religiously, you know that you have to do the jumps in a certain way. Like a certain bout of timing. Here's the problem.
There we go.
The game does not warn you. The game does warn you that you have to double jump. What it doesn't warn you of how you'll have to time the double jumps. I mean, and overall, this thing isn't too bad. That is until they start to get a little. Well, let's just say.
Oh, Jova! I disagree. Family Guy reference. Go ahead.
Yeah, here's the thing. This is not even the worst that this level can get, because consider this the preliminaries for what is actually yet to come.
Yeah.
Here's the deal.
Explain this to me. Why do I keep dying for a thing that I don't even touch? Why? I don't
Because this is old school generational console, biatch.
See, what the game doesn't tell you is that those little tree pom-poms are actually apparently considered in the hitbox. Go figure.
But they're
thankfully he got over that one. Oh, no.
They look more like spines. They're like,
Is it Tintin now?
Jova, forget the fucking leaves. Those are the same nests that we use as platforms in the sections with the monkeys. So why the fuck do those...
Yes, that's the thing. Apparently, those platforms will hurt you only in that specific section. And
That's some bullshit.
The sad thing is, outside of the Flamingo level, this level is pretty fun. Visually, musically,
it
and...
has the filter of the song. It changes accordingly, yeah.
Oh,
Not
yes,
just that.
Yeah, it's really pretty, but it seems bullshit.
It's like this. Okay. First of all, I forgot to say.
Wait, hold on. I gotta point this out. This particular chord is sadly not in the SNES version. The part where it goes at a higher, different key or whatnot. No idea why. Kind of a shame.
Weird, yeah. Anyway, as you guys already guessed, everybody
you have to memorize how the original pattern went.
No, actually, it's so much so that you're supposed to react more. Like, the problem is that, again, this is not okay. Keep in mind, Teo. Jova just mentioned this SNES version that he's gonna do.
Yeah.
A lot of multi-platform games at the time, the SNES version is cropped, meaning you have even less field of vision when dodging this section. So not only do you have to handle the incredibly shitty hitbox that makes no sense, you have to do it with basically one eye closed. Like, it's there you go. Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway, yeah, like I said.
By the way, be careful, because if you end up nailing that landing the wrong way, you can actually end up killed.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
That's
as you guys noticed, yeah, this is a side-scrolling platformer where there's various different gimmicks throughout the levels. So, yeah. Like I said, this game was released in both the Mega Drive, the SNES, and the PC. Don't play the PC version. Why?
Because I forgot there was a PC version.
The PC version is literally incomplete in the sense of, like, for example, Jova. Not so much in terms of content, but to give you an idea, Joey, remember that boss music we heard when I fought the hyena?
Yep.
It's not in the PC version for reasons that the level theme just keeps playing instead of changing to a boss theme.
That's right. I remember that god-awful PC version. Don't even get me started on how some of the graphics are, well,
it's kind of
looking.
You can tell it's not as bad as the PC port of Toy Story, the original 1995 Toy Story game. But it's still whatever. We'll get to Toy Story when we get to it. The point is, don't play this on either the Super Nintendo or the. It's like this when it comes to picking between both the Super Nintendo version and the Mega Drive version. If you don't mind the music being inferior, definitely go for the Mega Drive version, because like we just explained, it has a bigger field of vision. Therefore, you actually can see the full fucking picture.
I will say this: the two experiences can be considered different enough. In fact, that's sort of why I'll be doing eventually a playthrough of the SNES version. I will say this: if you're a video game buff, play both and see which one you enjoy. I mean, they both have their ups and their downs.
Yeah, it's a different thing. For example, to give you an idea, Teo, there's actually 4 things you can do in this game. You can roar, you can hit with your paw when you're adult Simba, and you can jump. Or you can also use a 4th button to use a special attack as adult Simba. Now I know what you're gonna say, Teo. What do you mean 4 attacks, Pedro? The original Mega Drive controller only has 3 buttons. Well, that's just the thing, Teo. In order to do it, you have to get a 6-button controller. Which of course wasn't a problem in the Super Nintendo version, because the SNES controller. And not just that, it also has shoulder buttons, remember? So, yeah. And there you go, level ended. And now we have bug hunt free. Yeah, why free, you ask? That's because the bonus levels are randomized. You don't necessarily start with bug hunt 1, which begs the question, why even bother numbering them if you're not actually going to have some kind of order to them? Sorry, I accidentally picked up the bad beetle, so I added the bonus. Don't worry, we'll see it eventually. Anyway, welcome to the Elephant Graveyard. As you can probably guess, yeah, after I can wait to be king number, yeah, we go to the Elephant Graveyard. So yeah, we're basically following the plot of the movie, as you can see.
With Be Prepared as the music track for this one.
To be fair, considering the levels of the game, I cannot really think of a better place to place this music in. So sure, go ahead.
I'm okay with it being here. I mean, the song does play in the Elephant Graveyard too, as well.
Mm-hmm. Which is interesting because later on there's going to be a level as Adult Sim, but that's literally called "Be Prepared." So you'd think they would save that song for that one.
Nope.
The tonal dissonance, though, with how cheery that level is, would have
not cheery, Joe. It's a lava level. I failed to see how that's cheery.
Oh God, I forgot. Never mind. My bad. I got that mistaken with the Hakuna Matata one.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but yeah, both versions of the music here are definitely good. The Genesis one has its twang, while the SNES one sounds like a very good recreation. I also recall, I think in the SNES version, there is a few more graphical effects at some point in this level. Than
the colors. Well, the thing about the graphics of both versions, Jova, I'm kind of going to have to agree with the guys from Console Wars, in the sense that, I don't know, I kind of find the visuals of the Super Nintendo version to be a bit too bright. And it feels like overexposed film. I mean, if you compare, it's hard to explain, but if you compare the two versions side by side, watch the Console Wars video. I know their comedy is shit, but their actual analysis part of the video is actually pretty good.
I will say this, though, it's like, well, the graphics definitely have better fidelity on the SNES one. Like, compare the gorilla boss fight in the Mega Drive version to the one in the SNES one. The gorilla looks way better in the SNES version.
Same with, true. That's actually one I'll agree, yeah. However, I don't know, for the colors, it's the overall coloring of the Super Nintendo version that kind of feels off to me. The overall color scheme of this version, I think, feels a lot better. Maybe
it depends. I mean, for a level like this, I can see what you mean because, darker aesthetic. But in levels like the final level of the game, I think the SNES one handles the graphics better, especially the lightning effects better.
As for what was it? Basically, it's one of like this. There's both versions have pros and cons. So yeah, I guess like Jova said, yeah, maybe play both.
Wow.
If you're that much of a stickler for the high quality music, then you'll definitely want to stick with the Super Nintendo version, because while it is true that the Genesis version does have its highlights when it comes to the remixes, that Circle of Life rendition is just, it cannot be ignored. Like
It really is funny how far we've come from the past. It's like, well, back in the day when it used to be like, well, both versions could be so different that you might as well play them both. Whereas nowadays, it's just more so a competition to see which one, has... It's slightly better compared to, like, the PS4, Xbox One. Heck, sometimes you can even compare stuff on the Switch to them and that. It's like, well, it really is amazing how,
Oh, this. Don't let that green water touch you, otherwise you'll die. I don't remember.
I think it's either acid or, well, sulfur. Yeah, I think it's sulfur.
Yeah, but at the same time, it kind of bogs the question. Why the fuck is the Elephant Graveyard full of volcanoes with these things?
Maybe that's how there's an elephant graveyard.
Yago.
I have never been to Africa.
Nice little reference.
I have never been to Africa. For all I know, maybe elephant graveyards over there are full of this shit.
Sulfur, well, not necessarily a volcano, but it could be a sulfur deposit. They can form occasionally. That's the thing. I don't remember this particular path of biology, so for the expert in the audience, they may know better. But it's more told through traditions, the fact that elephant graveyards are kind of a mystery in a sense that elephants seem to be guided unconsciously to basically a resting place, a mass resting place for all of them, basically. That's why you get so many dead at the same time, and they're usually well hidden. It's like an instinctual...
Look at that. Did you notice that glitch? I got stuck in the wall and I had to hurt myself to unglitch myself.
Oh.
So it could be because of a location, but I don't know basically all the details and everything. But I could be imagining that a sulfur deposit may be a place that these
Elephants go to die.
Yeah.
All right, that was African Geology by Teres Kaven. Anyway,
But biology and very, very potentially misinformed. So do yourself a favor, kids, and go inform yourself better because I'm not a reliable source all the time.
anyway,
Your friend.
anyway, allow me to correct myself from what I said in the first level because I made a mistake. That yellow gauge that keeps recharging in the top left, that's your roar gauge. Every time you roar, you discharge. It goes back to 0 and whatever. Oh, there you go. Hold on.
The one top right is your health.
When it comes to following the story, unlike the Aladdin game, this one results more on visuals rather than text.
Yeah, it doesn't have a proper
Which
cutscene.
admittedly does work, although I'll admit the cutscenes are... Okay, yeah, no question about it. The cutscenes look better on the SNES one. That's not to say that these look bad, it's just SNES one definitely uses its graphical superiority here to its advantage.
Basically, catch all the bugs. If you let even one bug drop, the minigame ends.
Sure, you haven't said much. You're a fan
Wow,
of
that
this movie,
was
too.
impressed as well.
Have you played this
Oh.
game, Shiroi?
No.
Okay. Like this particular level, the Stampede, this is one where the overexposed filmed style of coloring is more apparent. Like like I love the way this looks on the Mega Drive version. Look at it. It looks like you're literally watching hand-drawn background going through.
Although Simba's prawn sprite looks weird.
It does look a bit, but it's brilliantly animated. I'll give it.
It reminds me also of that sequence in the AGDI remake of King's Quest 2.
It does actually. I wouldn't be surprised if it was inspired by this. But anyway,
Probably they were fan of this.
Anyway, yeah, like I was saying, the yellow gauge is your roar, which is not present in this one because you cannot roar in this one. And the orange gauge that you see on the top right, that's your health gauge. I have the cheat. I activated cheat mode, so I'm invincible because this game is not as hard as David Perry's games, but it can still have its things. And not to mention, like I said, like this game can be a bit cheap sometimes with its difficulties.
I can see that.
Kill him. That was
Digitized.
Jeremy
Oh, not
Irons.
Jeremy Irons.
So
yeah.
now, of course, we have a level for Simba.
This is
where
Simba's
he has to
Exile.
escape the hyenas.
Yeah, in the original, he was just a brief little. So in the game, sorry, in the original, in the movie, we just basically saw him run for like a couple seconds. And here they decided to basically make a whole level of him running away all the way to Hakuna Matata. Why do I call it to Hakuna Matata? Because apparently, according to this game, the place where Timon and Pumbaa live is called literally Hakuna Matata.
Weird.
Whatever.
Anyway, to be fair, we did in the movie we did get an entire chase scene with Simba from the hyenas, but yeah, do we actually?
Yeah, we do.
yeah.
We'll, at the end of this level, you'll see.
Because if I recall correctly, we make it to the thorns and then the level.
Yeah,
transitions
you can see
up.
you can see the thorns right there as well.
I meant like actually going into that thorn
The end of
branch over there.
Wait till the end of the level, then you'll see it. Yeah, basically you have to grab onto these tiny platforms to go through, which is doesn't sound that bad. But there's going to be a part at the end of this level that, let's just say you have to take a leap of faith, and it's annoying. Also, so many hedgehogs. There you go. See? There you go.
It's a Sega Genesis
I
game,
swear.
and you're saying that there are too
Look,
many
pay
hedgehogs,
attention.
Pedro.
Pay attention, by the way. Pay attention.
Alright.
Okay, almost there. But bullshit! Bullshit! I touched that.
I think those are porcupines.
Whatever. The point is, I touched that. I touched that.
I did not hit her. That's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did.
No. Excuse me, Theo. I did hit her. So yeah.
Jeez.
I touched that. I did hit her, Pedro, 2018.
Exactly. See.
So this means you're going to become the anti-Tommy Wiseau.
It's seriously. What is up with the detection on these things?
I don't know.
See, look at that. Just like I did there you go, Jova. There you go.
I love how his pause fades.
Hold
right
on, digitized
through.
voice clip again. There you
That
go.
was so frightening.
To be fair,
I'm
to be
guessing
fair,
that
the
last
voices.
section wasn't as
Yeah.
much of a problem
At the
as
very
Nintendo
least,
version.
if they just digitized the voice clips of them, they could have easily chose some sound alikes.
Oh yeah.
I actually think the sound clips sound perfectly fine and audible.
Anyway, it's just as I recall. It's like, I mean, the level ends right as he enters the bramble.
I know, guys, I know this is supposed to be a rendition of Hakuna Matata, but considering also the level design, I'm getting first Bubsy game flashbacks.
Yeah,
You're right,
because of the greenery.
I can see that. Okay,
Yeah.
Also, we have killer frogs here who will
remember.
shoot.
I don't remember. I don't remember Simba fighting bugs and frogs when he arrived at the.
He was eating the bugs.
Oh, it gets even better because, believe it or not, we got a recurring boss for this level.
Much like stuff with the Aladdin game, although the Aladdin game I would argue did things better in this regard. Much like in a lot of licensed games at the time, because the movie obviously was only 90 minutes, they had to basically come up with excuses to make levels out of things, just for the sake of the game not being too short, basically.
To be fair, when it comes to Lion King, it feels like, they had a much easier time coming up with levels here and there because, whereas Lion King is kind of a movie that's constantly on the prowl of danger, you're out in the safari for crying out loud. Aladdin was one that had a lot more, shall we say, quiet and more peaceful scenes.
True, yeah.
So I guess to be fair, with Lion King, they kind of have a lot more stuff to work with. Especially considering how Lion King 1.5 added on stuff, but this was made before that.
All right, and now go through the logs as platforms. Don't worry, this is actually pretty fine. Like,
That
fortunately,
looks familiar.
yes.
Frogger, yeah.
Well, actually, I'm more reminded of the logs from Super Mario Brothers 2. By that, the American one, I mean,
from
not
Jungle Zone from Sonic 1 on the Game Gear.
that too.
That-
Oh yeah, that too. The one that disappears.
Fortunately, the hit
Yep.
detection on these logs is perfectly fine. Otherwise, this level will be unplayable.
Sure, it's funny you mentioned Sonic because it just reminded me how at some point Disney were actually about to pull a Sonic/Alex Kidd because Lion King was so popular that Disney at some point were actually going to replace Mickey with Simba as the mascot of Disney because of how much money Lion King was making them.
Anyway,
And they kind of had a bit of a throwback to that because Sora was originally supposed to be a lion. Kid.
Yeah, with a chainsaw. Like,
Wait, are you serious?
yeah.
Oh.
Nomura's
Oh,
first concept.
you didn't know about the original concept art of
Sora's
Sora?
weapon?
It comes.
No.
It came with the special. Like, oh, there you go. There's
He was
the.
supposed to have a tail
Okay,
and everything.
okay,
Who are you?
Shiroi. I know what you're gonna ask me. Pedro, when and ever the hell there was a section in the Lion King movie where Simba is fighting a monkey who slaps you?
He's
Yeah, it's
just
very
slapping.
rude.
He's just
He's
trying
like,
to
fuck off.
By the way, there's one cool thing actually. You know how he's tossing those rolling projectiles at you? In the SNES version, there's a really cool sound effect where where those fruit actually make drum sounds that are in time with the music.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually
I'm
pretty
actually
cool.
mildly disappointed that now we don't have a Disney game starring a lion with a chainsaw.
Give it some time, Shiroi. Maybe eventually.
Basically,
Maybe.
I'll show you after this
Sora
year,
was
but
originally supposed to be, part kid, part lion. He's supposed to have lion ears, a lion tail, banged teeth, and all that.
the special edition. Oh, there you go. I love this one.
Oh!
Wah,
course.
wah, wah.
See, Knuckles stood on the other side.
Anyway, yeah. So that was the child Simba part of the game. Tune in next time for where we finish with adult Simba. So
See ya.
see ya.
See ya.
Ta-ta.